What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak or react to that game yesterday where the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers faced off in game one, right? And so going into this series, like you got the number one seeded Cavaliers going against the number four Indiana Pacers. So I didn't think it was going to be an easy game for Cleveland, but I think Cleveland was a little bit rusty yesterday, right? In that first game, and not that even if they wasn't rusty, I just think that Indiana was going to be is going to be a tough out in this series. Not going to be easy to get past. Now the coach for Indiana, what's his name? Rick Carlisle. I think Rick Carlisle is one of the most underrated coaches in the league. I mean, Rick Carlisle is a very good coach, and I think he's just underrated. But the game was good, man. That guy, what's the guy named Tyrese Halliburton? He's also somebody that that is very I think he's underrated. Now, some people I think they just voted him, an anonymous poll like voted him one of the most overrated players in the league. Right. And I think a lot of people probably don't respect his game, because he liked to do a lot of chirping and going back and forth, but can't take it from him. This guy, Tyrese Halliburton, is a very intelligent ball player. And Tyrese Halliburton, the thing I like about him is he's a big guard, right? He's got to be about like 6'6". And I think I like big guards because back when I used to be a Chicago Bull fan, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, it's just so hard if you got a big guard, it's so hard to defend a big guard, because they can come clutch time or when you need a basket, big guards have an easier time scoring. They don't have to work as hard as somebody like a Donovan Mitchell. Like Donovan Mitchell is like about 6'3". Darius Garland is probably a little bit shorter than him. So those small guards have a harder time scoring, and then they're not great defenders, those small guards. So I always like big guards, and I think that's Tyrese Halliburton. That's going to be his that's an advantage for Tyrese Halliburton, is that he's a tall guard and he'll be able to get his shot, almost against anybody when they need it. Once, and especially, as he go along and he gain more experience. But I thought for Indiana to steal this first game, right, in Cleveland, I thought that was big. That was big. Then, like I said, he got the guy Pascal Siakam. I like Siakam. Siakam is a very good defender, and also Siakam, and he's pretty. His offensive game is solid. He got a solid offensive game. Like with a point with a guard like Tyrese, who could get him the ball. Like when he's slashing or on the back door. Things like that. I think he's good with Tyrese Halliburton. Now Donovan Mitchell, I think you can still see Donovan Mitchell had a little bit rust on him. I think the layoff for Cleveland, I think it bit him, especially in that like that first quarter. They kind of really was you could kind of see that he was a little bit rusty. His rhythm, he was a little bit out of rhythm, but that's not an excuse for them losing that game. Let me see what the score was to that game. I don't even have the score, but yeah, I don't have. I think they won by about 6, maybe more than 6 points. Indiana beat by more than 6 points. They might have beat it by like 10 points. But yeah, man. Then who else? Garland has to step up, I think. But I think Garland is going to have he's going to have a tough time. He's going to have to pick and choose, like when he pick and choose his spots for scoring, because Indiana has a long athletic team, and so it's not going to be easy for Garland to to get his baskets. But the thing about it is they don't really need Garland to do a whole lot of scoring. Garland really just have to get them, um, just make sure he protect the ball and feed his big guys. Like what's the guy named Hunter? Hunter. Then the dude Mobley. You want to make sure those guys are you know in their rhythm and feed them in their spots and stuff like that. So Garland really won't have to do a whole lot of scoring. But if it comes down to a situation where you need a basket, maybe he'll hit, some threes and just keep that defense, keep the Indiana defense honest, right? But I do think in this series, it's going to be important for these guys to on both teams, for these guys not to really allow somebody to get like too far ahead. Because I don't think really not neither one of these teams are like really good at really like comebacks. All and both teams are very good defensive teams, and so this going to be a tight series, tighter than what some people might be thinking. Like I said, you got Cleveland Cavaliers coming in at number one. Then you got Indiana Pacers coming in at the number 4 seed. So even though they're number one and number 4, it's still going to be a tough series. But I think Cleveland, with their athleticism, I think Cleveland is going to pull this out. Probably it might go 6 or 7 though. It might go 6. It's probably going to go 6, maybe even 7. I would say. But I like Tyrese Halliburton. And like I said, their coach, Rick Carlisle, underrated, but Rick Carlisle know basketball, and yeah, this gonna be a tight series. I hope that now the thing about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I don't think they'll fall down 0-2 in this series, but you already lost the first game. You the Cleveland Cavaliers, you already lost the first game in your house. So you don't want to go down 0-2 in this series and then really have to dig yourself out of a hole. So Cleveland is going. I want to see like how they bounce back after this first game. If they come out and just make a statement, and you know, and then depending on how strong the statement is against Indiana, especially like say like for instance, if Cleveland just come out and just dominate, that a dominant game from Cleveland might even, and I'm not sure, it might even just really just like knock Indiana back on their heels. But like I said, with a coach like Rick Carlisle, it's probably gonna take more than that. They're gonna make them earn it. But I think that Cleveland gotta come out in the second game, get off to a good start, um, and just punish them. Now, the one thing about Tyrese Halliburton, he's tall, but he's not really he's not really all that. He's kind of frail, right? So Donovan Mitchell, you know, they're gonna have to like get physical with him, and make him earn those buckets. Don't give him any jumpers. Just get physical with him. And but yeah, I'm looking forward to a good series between the Cavaliers and the Pacers, man. And it's going to be like going back and forth. Um, this is a series that really means a lot to Donovan Mitchell because you know people are saying that Donovan Mitchell can't get his teams over the hump. So he got to get, in order for him to change that narrative, Donovan Mitchell really he got to help these Cleveland Cavaliers, to get over the top and get past Indiana, and really some people are saying that Donovan Mitchell really needs to get his team to a championship in order for him to, to get that narrative, to get past that narrative. I don't know that I think that Donovan Mitchell needs to get to a championship, but I think that if he at least get them to to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics or who I don't think the Knicks going to be there, but against the Celtics, then I think it's a good look for him. It's something for him to continue to build, because I think, in my opinion, I think this year it's just Boston. To me, Boston got the best team in the East. So if Cleveland is able to get to the Eastern Finals, then I think that'll be a successful season for the Cavaliers and for Donovan Mitchell moving forward. And then, I think eventually they'll be able to get past Boston. But I don't think this is the year, for them to be able to get past Boston. But eventually I think they will. But yeah, man, I just thought that was a good it was a good game. Game one, I think it's gonna be a chess match. It's gonna go back and forth. And yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to, like, now we are into the second round of the playoffs, and we just gonna see some good basketball, more competitive basketball. The first round had, a few competitive matchups, but like as you get closer to that championship, you're gonna see, some better play. And I thought, and we're starting to see that now. And so yeah, with that being said, man, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.